Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And we have a troubling situation that's taking place here in St. Louis, in our St. Louis City government department. And that has to do with our St. Louis City elected sheriff, Alfred Montgomery. I just recently did a story on him a few days ago or a week ago. And now the Missouri Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, is trying to have Sheriff Alfred Montgomery removed from office immediately. Now, as you should know, or folks who don't know, this situation with Alfred Montgomery is sounding very similar to the ex-St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. There are some definite parallels here with egregiousness, with arrogance, and with an individual who thinks they can do whatever they want with that particular office. And it's unfortunate, and I don't believe this is a black or white issue. As we all know, with the St. Louis Circuit Attorney, that is an elected official position, just like the St. Louis Sheriff's Office. The people went out and voted. So you can't use race play in this particular situation. St. Louis City is a blue city. The state of Missouri is red. And of course, Kim Gardner was a black woman and Alfred Montgomery is a black man. And there's a little bit of a dichotomy that plays out when our black elected officials are having issues with the law or other governmental officials. Many times we want to use race as the main contributor to these issues. However, with this situation with Sheriff Alfred Montgomery, I don't think race has anything to do with it. As a matter of fact, I think for many of our black officials, especially in blue cities and blue states, being a person of color actually helps you. As I said, St. Louis City is a blue city. Kim Gardner was a black female. We had a black mayor in Tashara Jones, who served one term and then lost that position to the newly elected mayor, Kara Spencer. Tashara Jones is black. Kara Spencer is a white female. And I think in many of these situations, when you're already in that position, it's your duty, your fiduciary duty, not to lose it. So I don't believe necessarily that Kara Spencer won that position, but I believe that ex-mayor Tashara Jones lost that position. I don't believe that Donald Trump necessarily won the presidential election. I think that the Democratic Party under Biden and Kamala Harris lost the position. They were already in the position of power. They held the seats, they held the office, and then they lost it. And sometimes we have to look in the mirror and see what we could have done better to restore and regain that position, that elected position that you're already in. But now with this scenario with Sheriff Alfred Montgomery and the U.S. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey going after Mr. Montgomery, there are a lot of parallels with the ex-St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. So let's see what the Attorney General Andrew Bailey is saying. Missouri's top legal official files lawsuit to remove St. Louis sheriff from office. Sheriff Alfred Montgomery vowed he would not resign after Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey demanded that he be removed yesterday on Tuesday. And here again, follow the parallels. When they were trying to get rid of Kim Gardner, the U.S. Attorney's Missouri U.S. Attorney's Office, the governor, and then even the federal government was trying to get involved, and Kim Gardner would not leave. And so here we go. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has filed a lawsuit to remove Sheriff Alfred Montgomery from office a day after Bailey told the sheriff to resign or face removal. Bailey said he was confident he had the authority to remove the sheriff through the Attorney General's power of quo warranto, or the process of removing an official who has unlawfully held the office, including office holders who fail to perform their duties, violate criminal laws, or engage in fraudulent or negligent conduct. And sometimes our egos can get in the way. And here again, we have to be careful with race baiting. You got in the office based on the people believing in you, and to think Mr. Alfred Montgomery has only been in the sheriff's office for a few months, and to make the presumption that the white power structure wants you removed because of your color is ridiculous. I think that him being a person of color in the city of St. Louis helped him get elected to that position. So after launching out this investigation and reviewing a growing quantum of evidence substantiating the allegations, Attorney Andrew Bailey said, "I was left with no choice but to take the appropriate legal actions," Bailey said in a press conference today, just minutes after his deadline for Montgomery to resign had passed. The suit attributed 6 specific claims supporting the sheriff's removal, including nepotism through hiring his own brother to serve as a deputy sheriff, illegal arrest of the St. Louis Jail Commissioner Tammy Ross, which the sheriff's department has no fiduciary power to do that, illegal arrest of a lawfully licensed private security guard, and the seizure of that guard's weapon. They did that, allegedly. Failure to transport inmates for critical medical and mental health treatment. They stopped in the latest situation, and I did the story on that. Sheriff Alfred Montgomery decided after a 20 to 30 year job situation that the sheriffs did transport inmates to and from the hospital for treatment. He decided immediately that they weren't going to do that anymore. Number 5, illegally using the office for personal gain, including using on-duty deputies to babysit his children and pick them up from school. And this was even caught on videotape, and they even showed it on the news. Here again, we're talking about arrogance and hubris. Does this have anything to do with the color of his skin? I do not think so. And it makes you wonder, with this new elected sheriff, is there some kind of mental instability going on? This is just common sense. The number 6 situation is that there's been financial mismanagement of the office, including using tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on golf carts, gold-plated badges, and a take-home Chevy Tahoe, along with brand new uniforms that he wants the sheriffs to wear. Mind you, the sheriff's department is severely understaffed, just like there is understaffing of correctional officers in the jail. And of course, St. Louis City is down 300 to 400 police officers on the streets. And to use that kind of money on golf carts and gold-plated badges, I think it would be more, it would make more sense to try to utilize those funds for pay increases for those jobs for the sheriffs, and a marketing blitz to try to get more individuals to to go and become sheriffs, as opposed to spending that money on golf carts. Montgomery, at a press conference yesterday, vowed to stay in office and blame local press outlets for creating false claims and reckless accusations about him. Montgomery also said Bailey's push for his resignation was not based on proven facts, not based on any court ruling, but on what's been described as widely published in disturbing allegations. Here again is on what's been described as widely published in disturbing allegations. He said, I've been called many names, and here we go. This is where the race part comes in. Every time a black elected official or a black entertainer gets into some kind of trouble, we have a tendency to go back on the race play, and I don't think his race has anything to do with it. He said, I've been called many names, starting with the former sheriff who called him, he claimed, a monkey on his last day in office. And remember, the previous sheriff was Vernon Betts, who was also African American. He said they were urging local media outlets to pay close attention in the future, and promising to, and Vernon, he was saying the ex-sheriff was promising to make his term in office as hard as possible to carry out. So that's what his excuses are. He thinks that Vernon Betts, the ex-sheriff who's black, is causing many of these issues for him. Now, I don't believe Sheriff Vernon Betts has the power to get the Missouri U.S. Attorney involved in this situation unless there are clear indications that Mr. Montgomery is doing some of these things inappropriately and in a wrong way. I'm sure the Missouri U.S. Attorney has more important things to do than to focus all his attention on Mr. Alfred Montgomery. This sounds very similar to the scenario that took place with Kim Gardner. She refused to leave. There was a backlog of cases that needed to be sent to court, even murder trials, armed robbery trials, and our St. Louis City Circuit Court was in a mess, and she had to be removed, and the new circuit attorney is Gabe Gore is doing a great job. But this scenario, and even Mr. Montgomery just recently did an interview with Elliot Davis on Elliot Davis's Facebook page. Mr. Montgomery probably needs to go. You tell me what you think. And there's been several scenarios with some of our black politicians, whether it's Eric Adams as the mayor of New York and the debaclement that has been taking place in his department in City Hall. There have been several individuals that have been indicted, including himself. And that's a blue city. Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. There has been nothing but chaos and disorder in that particular city and its City Hall departments. This level of arrogance, the quickest way that you can and will go to jail is if you are entering the political arena and you make the decision to do something illegal, conflicts of interest. We all should know at this particular age and in this particular time in 2025, if we're going to use our color and our race as a harbinger, we do have to realize, okay, the spotlight is going to be on you as a African American or a black person in a high political position as a mayor, governor, senator, congressperson, sheriff, the city circuit attorney. Many of these are all elected positions, but you do have to know that there is going to be a light that is shining on you. The old montage that if you are black versus someone white, you have to be 4 or 5 times better. You have to dot every I and check and cross every T. And for Mr. Montgomery to just recently get into this office, and from day one, even during the time that he was running for sheriff, him and the ex-sheriff, both African-American black men, one's older, Vernon Betts is a lot older than Mr. Alfred Montgomery. They were butting heads from day one. And ex-sheriff Vernon Betts said that there was going to be a lot of chaos and disruption in the sheriff's department. Was he a soothsayer? Could he predict the future? And I'm referencing the ex-sheriff Vernon Betts. He predicted all of this was going to take place. And did Alfred Montgomery, due to arrogance and hubris, walk right into that gavel of nepotism, misappropriation of funds, having sheriffs babysit his children and pick them up from school? I think Mr. Montgomery should have known and does know that that is not part of the sheriff's job duties and their fiduciary duty to take care of inmates for transportation to and from medical care or the courts. These accusations, if they are correct, it looks like Sheriff Alfred Montgomery might be in a lot of trouble. And in today's time, I don't understand where we're seeing several of our black politicians who are getting their hands caught in the cookie jar against the white power structure, and they think that they're going to use their race as their primary defense for some of the things that they're doing. Some of these things are very black and white, and I think the U.S. Attorney, the Missouri U.S. Attorney, or any U.S. Attorney in any of our 50 states would go after somebody who they feel is committing misconduct or inappropriation of funds. They're going to go after them whether they are black, white, blue, green, or yellow. It doesn't make an ounce of difference. But this entire story sounds very similar to Kim Gardner, who is the ex-St. Louis Circuit Attorney, who is a black female, and now you have Alfred Montgomery, a black sheriff, who is going through some of the same allegations that Kim Gardner went through, and for him to say that he does not believe that he can be removed, let alone possibly get arrested. Him as one person is not going to beat the power structure, especially if you're doing wrong. If you're doing wrong, admit to your wrongdoing and try to move on. You can't force the entire system to allow you to stay in office if you are doing things that show that there is a need for you to be removed. Tell me what you think. I think that the sheriff, Alfred Montgomery, who has only been the St. Louis City sheriff for a few months, may be on his way out after this. The Missouri U.S. Attorney, Andrew Bailey, is going after him with resilience, resolve, and a high temperament to get him out of office. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience.